These are your notes on forms. You just watched the video on forms. So pick a section, label the top, middle section part of your section forms. Definition for forms could be several definitions, and you pick which one makes sense to you. Could be what your video explained. It has 3 dimensions. It is height, width, and depth. It has 3 dimensions. It adds that thickness, that depth to it. That is the difference between a form and a shape. That form adds the thickness, the depth. A piece of paper is a form. So it could be, your first definition possibility is it's got 3 dimensions, height, width, and depth. Another possibility for a definition is object. They are real-life objects. You can grab hold of them. You can touch them and feel them. You can lift them up. So they are objects. So you could either say they're 3D, having height, width, and depth, or you can say they're objects. Now forms can be drawn and held. So forms are 3D. They have height, width, and depth. They have height, width, and depth. Height, width, and depth. Or you could say they're objects. Okay? So, on forms, we have several that we're going to draw. Let's switch to pencil. First one we're going to do is a rectangular prism. A rectangular prism is a box. So, first thing I want you to do is write down 3 examples from real-life objects of rectangular prisms. I'll give you one. Computer screen. Look around and find some more rectangular prisms. There's several in the classroom, or you can think outside the classroom. Write 2 more down. Now we're going to draw a rectangular prism. If you already know how to draw a rectangular prism, a box, then you can go ahead and do so. If you don't, I need you to follow along with me. So first step we're going to do, and draw lightly so that the outlines disappear when we go to shade, because we are going to shade. Draw a rectangle. You can do a square if you want, I don't care, just as long as it's going to end up as a rectangular prism in the end. It includes cubes. Then draw a little bit overlapping in the back, behind that one, about the same size. It can get a little smaller. Connect your lines, your corners, connect your corners. I notice I didn't connect this one because we're going to erase inside anyways. Now I'm going to erase inside. And there is the start of my rectangular prism. Now hopefully you drew light enough that when we go to shade, they'll disappear. I have to draw darker because otherwise it doesn't show up on the screen. Next, we're going to add shading. And this is important for all of you to watch. The light's going to come from the above left. So this top, we're going to shade in very lightly. And that's why you need to make sure you draw lightly so that the shading, the lines, outside lines disappear and it's just the shading that defines it. The front or the left is going to be a medium, so it needs to be a little bit darker. Try to keep it fairly even on your shading. If you need to do a layer and then go back and darken it, you can always do that. It's better to start out lighter and then add a little bit of value more to it. On this right side is going to be my darker value, but don't go black because we still have to do a shadow. As long as it's darker than the rest, it will be fine. Now our shadow. Again, the light's coming from the above left. So our shadow is going to go under here a little bit and come out this way and come out off of this corner this way. And it hits this diagonal right here. So the shadow has to be at a diagonal. And the shadow has to be the darkest thing there is. Make sure these lines here go straight across. If you get them slanted down, it's going to look a little funny. So you want them to go straight across. So there's a rectangular prism. Next, we're going to do a cylinder. Okay, again, I want you to list 3 things that are objects that are cylinders. For instance, a chip can. You think of 2 others from real life that are cylinders and write those down. Now we're going to draw a cylinder. So we're going to start and draw lightly. Start with an oval. Next is 2 vertical lines from the outside edges of that oval, about the same length. Try to stop them about the same length. Now the bottom of the can, the cylinder, is curved. It is not straight across. So we're going to draw half of an oval here. This is not a see-through cup, so that's why we drew it half. If it was a see-through cup, then you could draw the rest of this bottom oval. But we're not making it a see-through cup. Okay? My light is still coming from the above left, so this top needs to be the lightest value. This side is going to have several values. So to start with, I want you to very lightly shade in the whole thing. Then, since the light's coming from the above left, not all the way on the side, but towards the left, I want you to erase a section. Make it the lightest section. Notice that I left a light value over here, then I have white, then I have a big section of light over here. So it's just a skinny little section of light over here, a big section of white, and a big section of, the biggest section is of light over here. Now I'm going to add some values over here on the right. So from the right side to about halfway over, I'm going to leave a little bit of light, and I'm going to add another layer. And one more time, I'm going to add another layer all the way on the right here. So I should have light, white, light, medium, dark. Light, white, light, medium, dark. And then my shadow, again, the light's coming from the above left, so I'm going to take my shadow, it's going to be kind of an oval shape. It's going to go off to the right. Make sure this part is straight, fairly straight. You need a little bit of shadow under there. It's the darkest thing. Right up next to the edge of your can, or your cylinder. Okay, so there's a cylinder. Sphere. A sphere is Earth. And then I want you to think of 2 others. Only one can be a sports ball. If you choose sports balls, you got to take one and then one other thing that would be a sphere. We're talking about a round object. To draw a sphere, start out drawing a circle. Now my circle, I like to draw in short little curves so that I can adjust it as I go. So there's my circle. Now, similar to the way we shaded the side of the cylinder, we're going to shade the sphere. So very lightly, color in the whole circle. Very lightly. Our light is still coming from the above left, so I'm going to go over towards the left, and I'm going to erase a crescent moon shape towards the left. Not all the way on the left, just towards the left. So I have light, white, and a big section of light. Then I'm going to add a layer. It's going to get wider in the middle, skinnier at the bottom, because I want to keep that round shape. So now I have light, white, light, medium, and add one more layer over on the right, and that's my dark. Again, it gets wider in the middle, skinnier at the top and bottom. Then my shadow needs to be an oval, part of an oval. It goes out that way, and this will be the darkest thing. So there's my sphere. Next, we're going to do a pyramid. And pyramids, I'm not going to have you make a list. We're just going to do pyramids. So, you can start out with a triangle. There's two different ways you can start out with. You can start with a triangle, or you can start out with, and I'll draw it over here, kind of a check mark. Now, if you're doing the triangle, you start with a triangle, draw a diagonal line off this bottom right corner, going up away from that point, and then connect the top of that triangle to that diagonal line. And there's your basic shape, basic form to a pyramid. We will add shading to it. If you did the check mark, you're going to put a point up above that check mark in about middle, higher than that, and connect that point to all points of your bent line, your zigzag, your check mark. Either way, you'll get a pyramid. Now, light is still coming from the above left. So this left side needs to be lighter. Just lightly color it in. I'm going to lighten mine a little bit because I got a little dark. On the right side will be my medium. Just has to be darker than the rest. Try to make it an even value. And then the shadow is going to come off of this corner this way. This corner is going to meet that one. So it comes up to kind of a triangle, and it's going to be the darkest. There's a pyramid. The last form we're going to draw is a cone. And again, I'm not going to worry about making a list for cones. We're just going to draw one. So start out with an oval down towards the bottom, because we're going to make this cone stand up. Take a point above that oval towards the middle of it and connect that point to both edges of your oval. Erase the back side of that oval. And you now have the basic form to a cone. Now we add shading just like we did on the side of the cylinder and on the sphere. So very lightly shade in that whole thing. Towards the left, it'll be skinnier at the top, wider at the bottom. I want an erase area for the lightest area. Do not go all the way on the edge. Use the camera to work here. Pick it up. Come on, pick it up. There we go. Then over here on the right, I'm going to add a layer. Gets wider at the bottom. And then all the way on the right, another layer. So I have a light, a white, a light, a medium, and a dark. So light, white, light, medium, dark. And it should look fairly rounded. And then we need a triangle off to the side here for the shadow. It goes underneath a little bit there. Okay, so those are your cones. Those are your forms. Remember